Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shayne Goss. I am a level 2 practitioner in Dolores Cannon's Quantum Healing Hypnosis technique. I'm also a Reiki and sound healing practitioner, as well as a integration coach for spiritual and psychedelic experiences. So I do all this at Sacred Soul, Mind, Body, Spirit in Canton, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. So I am very, very happy that you found this video, which means that there's something in the contents of this video that you needed to hear, or maybe you were searching for and you did not realize, or maybe simply you're just interested in QHHT, and there's always so much information coming out through these sessions that I do, and other practitioners do as well. So welcome. I know that you're really going to enjoy this series that I've been doing with Denny. If you've seen the two previous videos we did, we were speaking with his higher self. And initially, when he did come in for a session, we found out, we spoke to his higher self for his own healing needs, but then they suggested that we do a video series together instead of collecting material over years and years and putting it together as Dolores did. But in this time of all this technology, that it would be much easier to share what the higher self has to say with the implanted at this time. So welcome. I'm very excited about these videos that I'm going to share. This will be the first part of 3. Very dense information came through for his last session we did. So, and that's with Archangel Metatron. So I'm very, very excited to share this with you. This will be video 1 of 3, and I hope that you enjoy. I know you'll enjoy. There's so much material within this session that is very, very helpful for anybody. So share if you find anybody that would like this video as well, and subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos in this series. So like, subscribe, share it, and if you're interested in your own QHHT session with me here in Atlanta, you can email me at ShayneGoss@gmail.com, or my number is posted, so you can just shoot me a text, give me a call, and I'll be back with you as soon as I can. So I hope you enjoy. I'll see you later.
That's probably the direction we're going to push him in.
Okay. That would be good, because I've read one of his books, and
What did you think?
it was amazing, and there was so much information in it that really connected a lot of dots for me in my journey.
Well, that's good.
So I definitely believe that it needs to be published for everyone to read.
Well, he doesn't care whether he makes any money on it or not, So, if you want to post it on your site as a merch and just give it away, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't think he'll disagree with that.
Okay. Thank you. Well, we have quite a few questions to ask today.
Okay.
Metatron, are we still speaking to Metatron?
Well, yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of people here. I'm not the only one.
Okay.
There's what he calls his cadre.
The cavalry of his guides?
Cadre, cadre.
Cadre.
A bunch of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's,
Okay.
golly, the only reason I'm here is because I've been assigned to him. So,
Okay.
besides the fact that we're all friends.
Okay. Can you give us a little more information about why you were assigned to him as one of his guides?
Well, that has to do with the Melchizedeks. So you do realize this planet is in receivership, and the Melchizedeks are in charge of the planet. So he's probably told you about the ancient ones.
Yes.
Okay, so for want of a better way to describe that, they impose themselves upon your experiment, so to speak, and so they're consultants, right? There's a male and female, and that the two of them have been here so long that they've drawn some of the other ancient ones who are now observing this planet more closely than they normally would. So as far as the Melchizedeks are concerned, that puts them in very high esteem. The fact that he's put himself on the planet is even more gregarious, if you want to call it that. So even when I try to explain that to him in his various, when he talks to us in his journal, he does auto writing. So we talk about that stuff, you know. It's difficult for him in his human form to comprehend the fact that that's what he is and the reason he's here. So in that sense, he himself is humble, but the evil twin is an arrogant prick. So, you know, just deal with it like that. It's both of them are there together almost.
Okay, so how do the ancient ones, what is the relationship of the ancient ones and the Melchizedek? How are they working to help the planet right now?
Right now, they're causing things to happen so that the veil will disappear.
Okay. Is that going to be good for the Ascension destiny?
Not necessarily. The ascension destiny is there for everybody. On this planet, everybody's on it. It doesn't matter whether you're doing it like you do it. You're actively pursuing it. And like he is actively pursuing it. A lot of people are just doing it on automatic based on the, I'm going to call it instructions of the higher self, but that's not exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a community behavior, right?
Okay.
Let's say that you're in the afterlife and you've transitioned and you've been there for a while. And you've been through purgatory, which is they call life review now. And you've been through that. You've accomplished your part of it, and then the other part of that is you get to see your positive aspects, the positive things that you did, and then you get to take a break and kind of fool around, do whatever you want. And so finally, you decide, well, hell, I didn't learn everything I need to learn. I have to go back because this is a big school. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at, you're talking to other maybe instructors, depending upon where you are, about, okay, I need to learn this, I need to learn that, what do I need to do? So you may go to the record book. Are there some people that I know that, I need to reconcile a certain amount of my karma, I need to do this, I need to do that. So you're putting a plan together, and you're trying to collect a group of people to assist you. And so together you work at, we're trying to accomplish this among our little group. And it You know, it could be world, global, or it could be just in your little community. It could be anywhere, but that's how it works, right? So you come in at a specific time and you pick your parents and you come through and you grow up and you pick those parents because they're going to lead you in a direction that's focused on whatever it is you want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say that I'm just here by myself, even though you have to sign a waiver of forgetfulness so that you can't remember any of this stuff to be on the planet. But, you know, now you don't know it, but you're communicating with your higher self. And so you project yourself on there, and your higher self is going to give you some instructions, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may not even know you're getting them from your higher self, depending upon where you are. And so you get instructions, and you have to build a alter ego, right, to let you actually function in the material realm. So that ego has its own agenda,
Okay.
irrespective of anything else. And in a sense, when you get a hold of that, you realize that that's not who you really are. And that if I channel my ego, I'm going to want to do this stuff. But if I'm channeling my higher self and who I really am, I'm going to want to do this stuff. So how do you reconcile both, you see? And when you get to that level, that's a whole new personality for you that you now you're in an identity crisis and you have to figure out what the heck's going on. So when that happens, you're at a crossroads, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes this way or that way, you know. How powerful is the ego at this time to want to drive you down the left-hand path? And how powerful is your idea of what I am as a spiritual human being to go in the right-hand path? If you make the step onto the right-hand path, then the ego's just your teacher now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the aisle of temptation, right? The ego is, I want everything for myself, so it's self-interest.
Mm-hmm.
And if you walk down that path, it gets worse and worse and worse, right?
Yeah.
But now you're out of balance. You're over here on the right-hand path, and now you're telling the ego, this is the way it's going to be. You go kick rocks.
Yeah.
So now this is like force feeding yourself. You really have to have a lot of discipline to go down that right-hand path because everything else is going in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get to a point, and we look at this, it's like a spiral, right? Like a spring, a coil spring. You start here, and then it goes around like this, and then you're over here again. But you're not exactly. It seems the same. It looks like I made 2 steps forward and 4 steps back, but it's not. It's just your energy system saying, do you still want all this old stuff that you just transformed or not?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of effort, personal willpower, personal discipline to say, no, I don't want all that junk. I'm going to go again, right?
Yeah.
But now you're up here, right? Instead of down here, you're up here. So you're on that spiral, and to you, as you're walking through it, you don't know anything's changed, right? You have no idea that you physically made a change as you're moving up this spiral. So, and you're kind of semi on automatic, but you've realized that the ego is still over here and it's trying to pull you back, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're just refusing. I know that this is the way I'm supposed to go. regardless of what this thing over here. And it doesn't matter what everybody else says, even though that's in alignment with this guy over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of effort, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the real work, though, isn't it?
It is the real work. But how many people are willing to do that? You see?
Mm-hmm.
And so he realized that. And he said, well, there has to be another way. There has to be a simple system, right?
Yeah.
And he, went through all kind of things trying to figure that out. And so at some point, he heard something was listening to something, whether we did it or higher self did it. It's just, books fall off that hit him in the foot, right? And he got interested in that and bought some of their recordings. And in the recordings, he could hear the music, right, in the chant. It's called a decree. But during the Atlantean years, because they understood all this stuff, you could use your voice to impact the physical realm to not only improve yourself, but improve the environment. And so they created these chants like mantras, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at it in this perspective, okay, so here's the chemical realm, right? This is the chemical realm of the physical body and the physical universe, and the only way it seems real is because you're vibrating at the same frequency that everything else is. So if you touch this table or whatever you're touching, it feels like it's solid, it's really there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had the capacity to change your vibration just a little bit, you could just walk through that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could change it back. You see, it's that close. That close. So you're in this physical body, and so your ego makes it seem like this is the only reality, but it's not. So what are these other realities over here that are invisible to you, that weren't always invisible? At one time, we could just see all that. It was right there, right with us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did that happen? What blocked that inner vision, the inner contact with the reality of what we are as a spiritual energy system?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, the black magicians created a veil. We don't know how they did it. So it's been there for 10,000 years. So the light workers are working on it. Even they understand that there's a veil there because your higher self, through going through the birth and rebirth cycle, you followed a certain path, and now you have abilities where you can see through the veil with blinders on, right? You have a little bit of sight, you have a little bit of hearing, and a little bit of real feeling coming through your intuition that you know something's there, even though you can't see it. What I'm talking about is you can actually see it with your physical eyes. That's the difference. The veil blocks that. We don't know how they did that. Even his evil twin can't tell you how they did it because he had defected before they created that.
Okay.
So he thinks he knows how they did it, but rather than say anything about it, he's just, he's saying, you can't butt head with them guys. You have to make an end run, Denny. You have to make an end run. Okay, what do I do? And so this is what you do when you understand the voice box and the power of the voice. and how it can impact the physical realm, you know exactly what to do, right? So one individual person is powerful, even though you indoctrinated into the fact that you're powerless and have no power, and the external world is all there is, and you're just a victim. But that's not true. So when you reverse that, you see that you have power. Now, how do I fix my vocabulary into impacting the physical realm that not only helps me, but helps everybody else?
Yeah.
And if I'm on the planet and I'm healing the planet and I'm healing myself, what could be simpler? And all you have to do is know how to pray. But you want to pray out loud. So you have to write the prayer. And then if you understand that we on this side, if you call on us, we have to show up, right? So if you have a preamble and you call on myself and you call on Sananda and you call on El Moria or any of the Ascended Masters or goddesses for that matter, if you put that in the preamble, we have to show up and help you, even though you don't know we're there. We have to show up.
So we always have our
Right.
support system, don't we?
Right. So now you're going to write your little dialogue. This is what I'm going to say about healing the planet. And then you're going to do that. You're going to make the preamble. Then you're going to say the body of it at least 3 times. And then you're going to close with, so let it be spoken, so let it be done. And then you want to thank your I am present. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've created an invocation that impacts the physical world based on the energies in the speech. And each word, each syllable that you speak impacts the physical world. It's like, okay, I'm going to take this rock and I'm going to photograph this in slow motion and I'm going to drop it into the water. That's exactly what happens. When it hits, it creates concentric circles going out like that. Every word that you speak creates that rhythm in the physical dimension. So not only what comes out of your mouth, but what's the intention behind what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's how important this stuff is. But you're totally blind to the fact that it has any importance whatsoever, because you're taught that you have no power and you're just speaking words, right? You don't know whether you're creating a spell that's going to kill something or you're just, having a conversation that makes no difference until you realize that the power of your mouth is physically creating the external world that you live in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Until you get that through your thick head, you're just stuck. You're stuck in the black magician's world because that's where they want you.
So that's why speaking truth is so powerful then.
That's correct.
Does that have anything to do with all of the censoring that's starting to happen around the world?
Well, they have all that blocked, The very thing that I just told you, right? They do what's called ceremonial ritual magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have certain agendas that they want. So they create a thought form through this, what I just said. There's 12 of them at the time. They're gone. So anyway, they can sit in their circle once they have it isolated, right? It's isolated from anything, and they're creating something that they're for their agenda, right? It's a thought form. It goes into the collective, and it's there like a cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's part of, but not part of the energetic field of the earth. So let's say you may think that it's this little cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
Floating, like you're looking up and there's white clouds. Well, it doesn't work like that. We're calling it a cloud because it's easier to describe it, because they put this energy in there. Not only is it words, it's thoughts and emotions. Mostly emotions, because they understand that your emotions is more powerful than anything. And if they can direct the emotions to cause you to think that it's your thoughts thinking the real stuff, it's going to motivate you to go in that direction.
Okay.
So,
And this is a technology that the evil or black magicians use.
it's the same technology whether they use it or you use it,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's impacting the same thing. Their agenda is self-interest.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're talking to the ego, self-interest, right? And their self-interest is, we want power and control. But it doesn't come out, we want power and control. It says, I want power and control. How do I get power and control? Wealth equals power. Money equals control. And so that they insert that into this cloud, which actually is an energetic field that's in the earth, right?
It's in the earth.
It
or
exists.
It's around the
It
earth?
exists as an energetic field.
Okay.
In the earth, in the earth's energetic field,
Okay.
right? It's not part of the earth's only energetic field. It's put in there by them.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it exists there because they reinforce it. And if you're channeling your ego, and your ego is telling you self-interest is wealth equals power, money equals control, and this is how you get it. And so now you're drawing from that energetic field, you see. So you're not only you're drawing it from there, you're drawing it through you, because you're channeling it out into here, right? Through you, you're empowering this field. You're making it stronger,
Yeah.
right?
And people don't even realize that they're doing that, do they?
They don't know they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just something that their ego is telling them, because the ego is interested in self-interest only, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wants to acquire everything for itself. It doesn't care how it gets it. You see, the end justifies the means, right? At some point, the end doesn't, but the further into that you get, the closer you get to the end justifies the means. How I got there doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I killed somebody, stepped on you, pushed you out of the way, kicked you in the head, got you fired. It doesn't care, you see.
Yeah. It's like a hierarchy.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Is that why there has been so many in the past? There have been so many It's like the negative entities are almost self-destructive of their own creations.
well, okay.
Has that been-
You hit the point, which is the problem with using the dark side energy, right?
Yeah.
You hit the point. Self-destructive, right? It's called, we look at it as an implosion.
Okay.
That's what destroyed Murdoch and Mars, is the self-destructive mechanism that's built into that. And so how did they circumvent it, right? How did they circumvent it? I'll tell you. They tell you what they're going to do before they're going to do it.
How do they do that?
Oh, do you not think that they own everything on the planet? Okay, so they own the movies, right? The whole movie industry, the whole radio industry, the whole news media industry. Okay, so this guy writes a book. The movie's like the book. Let's make a movie. But let's say it's a science fiction movie. So I'm going to use this because it's pretty famous. I'm going to use Spielberg and Star Wars, right?
Okay.
So this is a galaxy far, far away. It's not. It's really the planet Earth. And here's a conflict between the rebels and the emperor, the empire, right?
Mm-hmm.
The empire is the black magicians. The rebels are us, right? The one and only emperor and Darth Vader rule over everything else. But you can see even the conspirators that are part of the evil empire, they don't have the same power that the emperor and Darth Vader has, right? Mm-hmm. So they're just puppets. Because it feeds their ego to do that, right? Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. That's how their system works.
Yeah.
The problem is when they take control. And he looked into the timeline, and one of them looks really awful. And the other one looks much like it was on Atlantis. And it depends on what direction that goes in. Okay. One isn't so bad, the other one is just awful.
Okay.
One is a complete dystopian system. The one on Atlantean is not quite a dystopian system, but it takes a while to get there, generations to get there, by the way. But when you're in it and you're born into it, it's not that bad. It's as simple as that.
So,
but if I explained how that system worked, even though it's run as a top-down, controlling thing, right? And all of the people don't know, they just born into it, so it's normal, right? Mm-hmm. So they're just, well, for want of a better way to describe that, conspirators in enslaving the planet, for instance. But to them, it's not a bad deal. There's no money. Doesn't have to be any money. Everything is free. All you have to do is go to work. But there's no advancement. There's no, creativity.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to create something, the reason they don't want robots, they want humans, because humans can think and create, and the only thing they're interested in is efficiency. So a human being can create more efficient stuff, right? So if it's more efficient, it takes less humans to do it, so that's easier to control. The less humans there are, the easier it is to control. And so robotic machines, right? Mm-hmm. But the machines need to get repaired. So somebody has to do that. And then there's stuff that has to be done by humans because machines can't do it all. So, and then there's communities, but they now call them 15-minute cities, but that's just a name, right? Mm-hmm. So, but that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful system, but let's create it instead of over here. Let's create it over here, right? With a whole new energy system that never existed before. in cooperative effort, we can do the same thing.
Yeah, but in a positive
It's 100%
unity.
positive, and it's cooperative effort.
Yeah.
We're not trying to beat this other person out of his stuff, right? To
Yeah.
get more for me, right? Because if you look at self-interest correctly, right? Just like I said a minute ago, if I'm trying to heal the planet and I'm on the planet, I'm also healing myself. That's self-interest, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you look at it in the big picture, if I'm helping this group of people, I'm also helping myself.
Mm-hmm.
It can't work any other way, right?
Yeah.
And so you could call that the boomerang effect. I'm going to throw the boomerang out there, which is my positive idea of how things should work. And it's going to go through this energy field and empower all these other people and come back to me. So I've empowered 500 people in this little idea, and that energy's coming back to me because I did it. Right? The ego can't see that. It's just got tunnel vision, right?
Yeah.
It only sees a little bit. But when you get the big picture, you can see that the outward part is always coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Always coming back. It's making that loop. It comes from here, goes out there, and comes back. Now, what these guys do with it is, what they do with it, whatever they do with it,
Yeah.
They have their own creative ability. All I did was give them a seed, right?
Yeah.
Here's a seed. You guys, run with the seed.
So,
That's the only way I know how to describe it. I mean, I can get into intellectual stuff and all that, but it's really simple.
So, do you see the ascension process going as that? Like when
The what?
The ascension process spreading kind of like wildfire like that?
That's
at
what
a
we're trying
certain
to do,
point?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do with his simple system.
Yeah. Because they...
Just like I described it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like I described it.
Okay.
Now, there's places, if you don't believe what I'm saying, there's places to look, right? Simple places. In the Bible, open the Bible. Okay. If I'm correct, it's Matthew 17, 20, and 21. It says, Master, how do we do blah, blah, blah? And he says, well, verily I tell you, if you have the faith of a mustard seed and you tell a mountain to move to yonder, it'll move. Mm-hmm. He's flat telling you how much power you have. Mm-hmm. And how much power the voice has. Because you told the mountain to move, didn't you? Mm-hmm. You didn't ask it to move. You told it to move.
Told it. Yeah.
And then you could look somewhere in there. They were talking about this. I don't know exactly. But the ascension destiny is based on seeking something, right? I'm looking for something. But because the ego tells you to look out there for it. It's not there, it's in here, right? Yeah. But it says, seek and you will find, ask and you will be told, knock and the door will be opened.
Yeah.
Okay. So that exactly tells you what it is. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, right, seek, what are you doing? Ask, what are you doing? Knock. Where's the door that you're knocking on? Where's the door?
Yeah.
The door's in here.
Yeah.
So seek means self-discovery. The Greeks had it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was their logo over the temple at Delphi? It said, "Man, know thyself."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's seek, know thyself. Ask is like service, right? Give service. So, one, you're asking the higher power within you, how can I be of service to my community?
Mm-hmm.
So then you're at knocking on the door. But as soon as you knock, the door's open, right? And somewhere in there it talks about various areas. They don't talk about it in the form of meditation, but in certain areas of meditation, you get to a spot where you hear this knocking noise. Then you're at the door. That's the door of the inner sanctum. Through that door, anything is possible.
Yeah.
So all of that stuff is already there. You already have it, but you're told not to believe it. If you believe it, you're now a conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that say? Somebody's telling you lies.
Yeah.